Would everyone please remain standing and join in the singing of O Canada?
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Thank you very much, Clara. Beautifully done. Please be seated. Clara has been doing this for a number of years, and the first couple of years we needed a step stool. Not so much. She's a beautiful young woman. Again, thank you so much for being here. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we are in Mi'kma'ki, the unceded territory and ancestral home of the Mi'kmaq Nation. Our relationship is based on a series of peace and friendship treaties between the Mi'kmaq Nation and the Crown, dating back to 1725. In Nova Scotia, we recognize that we are all treaty people. I want to welcome all of you and offer a very warm welcome to our graduates, our families, friends, and special guests joining us here today, and those who are tuning in through our live stream from around the world. Thank you for being part of this very special day as we celebrate the class of 2019. My name is Mary Thompson, and I'm fortunate enough to be the principal here at NSCC Shelburne Campus, as well as the Burridge Campus in Yarmouth and the Digby site. Now at this time, I'd like to introduce our stage guests, and I would ask, as I call their name, that they rise, but I would ask that you hold your applause until everyone is introduced. We'll start in the front row, starting at my right, we have Carla Willems, Academic Chair, Access, Health and Human Services. Dwayne Dakin. Dwayne, switch seats. There's Dwayne. Academic Chair, Trades and Technology. Kim Maslin, MLA for Queens and Shelburne. Don Bureau, NSCC President. Karen Churchill, Board of Governors. Lisa Hashard, our alumni. Anna Burke, Vice President Academic. Catherine McLean, Vice President Campuses and Communities. Rosalind Penfound, Vice President Organizational Development. And Monica Foster, Vice President College Services and CFO. Now starting in the second row and to my far right, Tara Keener, Dean of School of Access. Lucy Canary, Dean, School of Trades and Technology. Elizabeth Yo, Director, Student Services. Christine Arsenault, Director, Enrollment and Registrar. Jennifer Gavel, Assistant Registrar. Rob Angove, Manager of Student Services. Lisa Boyle, Organizational Learning. This is a very special day for our graduates, and we're celebrating their success, their hard work, and their dedication in meeting their respective program requirements. Graduates, it doesn't seem that long ago when you were beginning your college journey. If you remember some of those first days, you were really enthusiastic, but a little anxious and unsure of how to proceed. But it's with pride today, however, that we will watch you cross the stage. We see the same enthusiasm, but that anxiety is now replaced with an air of confidence. Today is the next step in your journey, and as a step in the next phase of your life, we are so pleased that we have been able to be a part of that journey. Your work at the college has helped us and helped you lay a foundation for the future, so never stop learning. We know that you will be a great asset, and our communities need you and all that you bring. So if I can give you a piece of advice, be active in all that you do. Step up, step forward, don't sit and wait to be asked. If you sit on the sidelines, you may not get a chance to step up. Embrace every challenge as an opportunity and make the most of it. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate you, our graduates, and wish you all the best in the future. You're hard worked, you balanced your studies, your family, and other competing priorities. You found that inner strength to make your goal a reality. I hope your time at NSCC has been enjoyable and productive. We are so very proud of you. We look forward to following your success in the future, and we know that we will see great things from you. From our amazing faculty and dedicated staff at our campus, to campuses and colleagues province-wide, each of us has played a role in supporting your journey to graduation, and to them, we say thank you. I would like to take this opportunity to ask our campus faculty and staff to stand and be acknowledged, please. Also at this time, I would like to acknowledge our student leadership on campus. I'd like to ask our Student Association to stand and be acknowledged. Holly Harding, VP Services, Kayla Nickerson, VP Communications, and Brooke Monroe, VP Activities. Thank you, ladies, for all you did. Today, we are also welcoming students who have graduated from online programs, and I want to extend a very warm welcome to my colleague, Tricia Donovan, the principal of eCampus, and welcome you here and glad you're able to attend with us. Congratulations to the class of 2019. As our president, Don Bureau, has often said, we take community and our community college name very seriously. This is a special community, and while we have always have our share of challenges along the way, by working in a supportive family, it makes our successes at the end of each academic year even more special. You've accomplished so much, you should be so proud. Again, we are so glad that you've taken the time as guests to support our graduates in person and online. We invite you to take a photograph of your graduate as they receive their credential and ask that you keep the stage clear when doing so. In case many of your friends and family aren't able to be here today, the ceremony will also be available at a later date, posted to the NSCC YouTube channel. So don't forget, if you're tweeting or twittering, whatever you want to call it, use hashtag NSCCgrad, and you can share your convocation photos and messages on social media. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce our president, Don Bureau.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you very much, Mary. Graduates, I have to tell you, it's such an honor for me to be standing on this stage this afternoon, celebrating your success with family and friends and loved ones. In fact, as president of NSCC, addressing you, our graduating class of 2019, it is truly the highlight of my year. As I was preparing my speech, as I do every year, I get a little bit nervous to make sure that I strike the right chord. My speech would be something that you would find compelling. So this year, as I was preparing my speech, I sought out some advice from my youngest son, Matthew, who graduated from NSCC a couple of years ago. I said, Matthew, what advice do you have for me as I prepare my speech? He looked me right in the eye and he said, Dad, he said, you know, you should try to prepare a speech that's interesting. And he said, you should try to be inspiring, but he said, don't be too long. He said, make sure that you're quick. So I said, Matthew, I'm not sure if I can be inspiring, interesting, and quick. And he said, well, just be quick then. So as I kind of laughed that off and I prepared the rest of my speech, I decided that I would tell you a little story. And this story is by far one of my favorite stories, and some of my colleagues have heard this before. It's called the Patch Story, and it speaks about the importance of taking action to have a positive impact on others. I first heard this story a few years ago when I had the pleasure of being part of a group to meet a woman by the name of Valerie Jarrett. Now, some of you may not have heard of Valerie. I hadn't. But she was the senior advisor to President Barack Obama when he was in office. She was often referred to as his shadow because during his 8 years as president, she was always with him. Valerie was in Halifax speaking, and she was speaking about her time working with the president. And she explained that early in her career, she was a young lawyer working in the legal department in the city of Chicago. And one day, while she was hiring a new lawyer to fill a vacant position, a woman named Michelle came into her office for the interview. Well, after about 5 minutes, Valerie offered this woman the job on the spot. And of course, that woman, Michelle, was Michelle Obama. And over time, Valerie became very close friends with the Obamas. And when Barack decided to run for president back in 2008, he asked Valerie to take a 6-month leave of absence from her job at the city of Chicago to help him with the campaign. Well, she stayed with him for the entire 8 years that he was in office. And she told us a story that back in 2008, when Obama was first campaigning to be president, he had just finished giving a speech at a hotel in Chicago when an elevator operator offered him a little military cloth patch. That man, his name was Earl Smith, and he explained that the patch had brought him good luck during the Vietnam War and throughout his life, and he wanted to give it to the presidential candidate to protect him as he undertook his important work. Mr. Obama said he couldn't possibly accept his military cloth patch, but Earl insisted, and finally the presidential candidate accepted the cloth patch. Well, let's now fast forward time to 2012, and President Obama has now won his second election. And he and Valerie are in the Oval Office planning the inauguration ceremony when the president says to her, "Do you remember that gentleman that 4 years ago gave me that little military patch? I want to go see if we can find him and invite him to come to the celebration." Valerie said, "Sir, that was 4 years ago. We have no idea who he was. We don't know where he lives. We'll never be able to find him." And the president, with a little smile, said, "We have the FBI and CIA at our disposal. Valerie, go find him." Well, she did. But as she was leaving the office after that command, she turned around and she said to the president, "Mr. President, what did you ever do with that little cloth patch that he gave you?" Well, the president reached into his pocket and he pulled out a whole handful of tokens. In his pocket was a little marble. There were rosary beads from the Pope. There was the military patch. There was a lucky poker token. These were the items that people had given him over the years of his public life that had a profoundly deep and positive impact on him. You see, for every morning for 8 years, when getting dressed in the morning, President Obama would take that handful of items off of his dresser, put them into his pocket as a reminder of why he was doing the work that he was doing. In his mind, he was president to have a positive impact on others and to simply serve. But here's the thing. You don't need to be the most powerful person in the world to have a positive impact on others. Earl Smith didn't know that his humble act of sharing that military patch with Barack Obama in that elevator that day would have such a positive impact on him. He knew that he would just be one of thousands of encounters, but Earl acted. And you know, we need not look very hard or for very long to find examples of this in our local NSCC community. There are many stories of students encouraging others during their program, and there are many stories of our great faculty and staff dedicating countless hours to mentoring and supporting our students along their journey. But graduates, was one particular example of you making a significant contribution to the lives of others that I want to recognize. At the core of NSCC, we strive to be an accessible post-secondary institution as we help students overcome all types of adversity. And to that end, a few years ago, we launched Make Way. Make Way is a fundraising campaign where we plan to raise $25 million to help our students overcome financial barriers as they pursue their education. And I'm very proud to say that we recently celebrated the completion of the Make Way campaign, and we raised, in fact, over $33 million to help our students. Yes. And a key group of contributors to that success has been you, our graduates, because you see, your student associations have pledged $500,000 over 5 years on behalf of each and every one of you to the campaign. And I think that deserves a huge round of applause. Thank you very much. Graduates, please know that your very generous gift will make a significant impact in the lives of future students by making education even more accessible for many years to come. As we look to the future, our ask of you is that you please never stop using your education and your many gifts to have a positive impact on others facing adversity in any form as they try to access a better life. And as I think of being kind and helping others, graduates, whether they are family, friends, again, amazing faculty or staff here at the college, there are people joining us this afternoon who have shown you these virtues while you've studied here at the college. So to our graduating class, I have to tell you, you have one more final assignment to complete before you officially complete your programs. And that final assignment is this. I want you to think for a moment of that person or persons who are joining us this afternoon who's had a positive impact on your life, for whom you have deep appreciation, and for those of us, as I say, who have joined us here on this afternoon. I've asked you to think of that individual because we have a tradition at NSCC, a tradition where I ask the graduating class to stand up and give a wave of appreciation to somebody joining us today for the positive impact that they've had on you. So as your last assignment, graduates, stand up and give somebody a wave of gratitude in this room, please. Congratulations, and I can now say you've officially completed your programs. Well done. And before I conclude, there's one other important group of individuals who are joining us this afternoon. For decades, our alumni have been driven by a passion to find ways to have a positive impact on their communities. I want to acknowledge our alumni who are joining us this afternoon. If you are a past graduate of NSCC or any of our predecessor institutions or schools, or a graduate of CCEDP, would you please now stand to be recognized? Well done, thank you. So in conclusion, graduates, I want to share with you one other comment that Valerie shared with us on the day that we met. She was asked, when working in the White House for the president, did the time go by fast or did the time go by slow? She thought for a minute, she responded. She said, you know, the 8 years went by just like that. But she said, some of the days lasted forever. And I think that's true for life in general. So graduates, after walking across this stage this afternoon, please don't wait until tomorrow to act. Start today and continue to have a positive impact on others by paying forward the many gifts and abilities that you have. Again, congratulations. And thank you for allowing NSCC to be part of your learning journey. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am honored to have the pleasure of announcing this year's graduates from the Adult Learning Program. Mr. President, I present to you the following candidates who have completed all the requirements for the high school diploma for adults. Jasmine Thompson. Yvonne Tremblett. Mr. President, the graduates in the Adult Learning Program. Mr. President, I present to you the following candidates who have completed all the requirements for credentials in the School of Health and Human Services. For the Certificate in Continuing Care, Brooke Acker. Caitlin Burt. Summer Brown. Ashley Deschamps. Torianne Devine. Holly Harding. Brooke Monroe. Kayla Nickerson. Natalie Sears. Shayla Smith. Well done. Haley Simmons. For the information of the audience, those students whose names appear in the program but who are unable to be with us today are automatically admitted to their respective certificates or diplomas. Mr. President, the graduates in continuing care.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am honored to have the pleasure of announcing this year's graduates from the School of Trades and Technology. Mr. President, I present to you the following candidates who have completed all the requirements for credentials in the School of Trades and Technology. For the Certificate of Electrical, Construction, and Industrial, Dawson Calhoun. Matthew Corbett. Dakota Firth. Elizabeth Gorham. Renee LeBlanc. Braden Moses. Connor O'Connell. Jacob Perry. Colton Pierce. James Semple. Marcel Southern. Logan Spencer. Owen Simons. Brandon Watkins. Mr. President, the graduates in the Electrical Construction and Industrial Program. For the diploma in Ocean Resources, Fisheries and Aquaculture. Abigail Kolb. Candace Denny. Liam Harding. Haley O'Neill. Cohen Renahan. Dylan Sanford. Shannon Simons. Mr. President, the graduates of the Ocean Resources, Fisheries, and Aquaculture program.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am honored to have the pleasure of announcing this year's graduate from Organizational Learning. Mr. President, I present to you the following candidate who has completed all the requirements for credentials in Organizational Learning for the Certificate in Adult Education Foundations, Teaching and Learning, Clarence Watt. Mr. President, the graduate in Adult Education Foundations.
Mr. President and invited guests, the graduating class of 2019 Shelburne Campus, Nova Scotia Community College. Before proceeding to the presentation of the major awards, I'd like to take a moment to recognize the special accomplishments of several of our graduates. A student success celebration was held on April 17, 2019, and recognition was given to graduates who achieved the highest academic standing in their respective programs. We also presented several awards for other accomplishments by graduating students. I would ask that those graduates please stand and be recognized here this afternoon. I now have the sincere pleasure of introducing this year's major award winners. Our first two student awards, the Governor General's Academic Medal and the Nova Scotia Community College Gold Medal, acknowledge the highest academic achievement earned by a student. We now welcome MLA for Queens and Shelburne, Kim Maslin, to the front of the stage to present the Governor General's Academic Medal. This is awarded to a graduating student who has achieved the highest academic standing in a diploma program. This year's recipient is Candace Denny, Oceans Resources, Fisheries, and Aquaculture. We now welcome our Vice President Academic, Anna Burke, to the front of the stage to present the Nova Scotia Community College Gold Medal. This is awarded to a graduating student of a college certificate program who has achieved the highest academic standing. This year's recipient is Dakota Firth Electrical Construction and Industrial. Our next two student awards, the Board of Governors Award and the President's Award, acknowledge academic achievement and contribution to campus and community life. We now welcome Board of Governors Representative Karen Churchill to the front of the stage to present the Board of Governors Award. This is awarded to a graduating student of a college diploma program who has demonstrated outstanding academic achievement and contributed to campus and/or community activities. And this year's recipient is Candace Denny, Oceans Resources, Fisheries, and Aquaculture. We now welcome our President, Don Bureau, to the front of the stage to present the President's Award. This is awarded to a graduating student of a college certificate program who has demonstrated outstanding academic achievement and contributed to campus and/or community activities. This year's recipient is Holly Harding, Continuing Care. We now welcome Lisa Hushard, alumni, to the front of the stage to present the NSCC Alumni Award. This is awarded to a graduating student who embodies the NSCC alumni tradition of excellence and ambassadorship and whose extraordinary contributions have inspired a sense of community and pride on campus. This year's recipient is Marcel Southern, Electrical Construction and Industrial. Mr. President and invited guests, I present to you the 2019 award winners for the Shelburne Campus, Nova Scotia Community College. I now have the distinct honor of introducing this year's valedictorian. Holly Harding was nominated this year as the Shelburne Campus Valedictorian and was chosen to represent the 2019 class. Holly is graduating today from our continuing care program. In addition to being the Vice President of Services with the Student Association, Holly has also been a peer tutor and mentor to her classmates who nominated her for the Campus Spirit Award at the Student Success Celebration. She's been described as delightful, kind-spirited, and a standout student. As someone whose eyes light up with enthusiasm as she speaks and who has a natural vibrancy that radiates, and as someone in whose presence others are better for the experience. Please welcome Holly Harding.
Hello everyone, my name is Holly Harding. I'm graduating from the CCA course and I'm honored to be up here today. I applied to the NSCC after the processing plant that I was working at closed down. I was at a standstill and I was petrified. I was a single mom, I just bought a home and I had no idea what to do next. But this was the push that I needed to work for my future. I took a very bad situation and I turned it into an opportunity. Going back to school didn't seem realistic for my family or myself until that point. Since starting the course, I've built lots of friendships, I've done a lot of self-reflection, I became an active member of the Student Association, and I also had the privilege of becoming a peer tutor. All of the staff at the campus made me feel very welcome and comfortable. They also showed me that they were invested in the success of every student that walked the halls. My experience at NSCC has helped me discover who I am and what I want for my future. It has also given me the confidence to keep pushing towards my future, and I intend to upgrade within the nursing field. Some of the most memorable experiences I've had this year included our costume contest for Halloween, the ugly sweater contest at Christmas, and after our spring break, we had a duct tape competition. Most of the students did participate in this, and everyone gathered in the halls, and everybody was cheering for their class. My favorite personal memory of the year was during an afternoon that we had lab. Everyone was practicing different skills that we had learned on the mannequins, and as we were doing this, we were also quizzing each other on the test material for the next day. We asked each other questions and took turns answering. We formed a big study group that afternoon. I listened to how everyone guided and encouraged each other, and it was very clear that everyone wanted each of us to succeed. Throughout the year, the students at our campus have formed a bond that we will always cherish. We've learned to lean on each other, to confide in one another, and just became a support system for each other. We have celebrated accomplishments, job offers, and the little wins of our fellow classmates. I am very grateful for every memory that I've made this year. To all the students graduating, I hope that you remember this. Your goals are achievable. We started our courses scared, excited, and with our futures in mind. Through hard work and dedication, we did it. We can do anything that we set our minds to, and this is all the proof that we need. We are in charge of what lies ahead of us. Whether you enrolled in the NSCC straight out of high school, after taking some time off, or as a mature student, you made the choice to invest in your future. Don't stop doing that after graduating today. Challenge yourself at every opportunity, continue to grow and learn whenever you can, and push yourself to your full potential. Use the relationships that you've made here and the lessons that we've learned to help guide us. And most importantly, be proud of yourself. Today, we're all surrounded by people that love us, that care about us, and who want to share in our success. We need to embrace that. Remember this moment and use it as inspiration for future circumstances. Think back to the times where you were studying all night for that exam that you never thought that you would pass, or the presentation you were dreading to present. Remember every obstacle that you have overcome thus far and let it fuel you to keep pushing. I would like to wish everyone here today well in all of your future endeavors, and congratulations to the class of 2019.
Thank you, Holly, for sharing your story with us today. And I now call on Mary Thompson, Principal, to present the Valedictorian Award.
Wasn't that amazing? Holly, thank you so much for your inspirational speech. And hopefully you all remember the friendships that you've made here are lifelong. Well, that brings us to the end of today's convocation proceedings. We invite everyone to join us for a reception immediately following the ceremony. But I want to extend a very special thank you to everyone who contributed to making this convocation a very special event today. Now, graduates, after receiving your credential on stage today, you were presented with an Alumni Pin. We hope that from this moment forward, you'll wear it proudly, because today, when you shed your gown, your connection to NSCC does not end there. Yesterday you were students, today you're graduates, but you're forever our NSCC alumni. Again, to all the guests, thank you for being here to support our graduates and make it a very special event. Right after convocation, we'll gather in the community room and there is a reception. Now, I would ask that during the recessional, the stage guests, led by our president, followed by the faculty and the graduates, will be leaving the auditorium. At this point, then, I would ask you now all to stand for the recessional and remain standing until we exit the auditorium. Congratulations, graduates. Convocation 2019 is now ended.